On this first episode of The Road Ahead, we'll explore the forces I see shaping the mobility industry of 2025. We'll start macro, and then as the year progresses, we'll zoom in, investigating the individual technologies, leaders, regulations, and more that are shaping this dynamic global market. Today, we're going to take a look at electrification, autonomous driving, and sustainability. I'm Ryan Smith. Welcome to The Road Ahead. Let's start with the most obvious, electrification. Now, what is the anticipated growth of the EV market in 2025, and where is it projected to be by 2030? Here at Dow, we see the move to electrification as both continuing at a consistent pace. The industry has grown since 1990 at a consistent CAGR of 15% per year, growing in value from a market size for battery packs of roughly $10 billion in 1990 to over $235 billion in 2023. This is a global change that simply will not stop. How are advancements in battery technology shaping the future of EVs? Well, speaking with Bob Gallion, a global expert on battery technology and the former CTO of CATL, offers 5 principles for electrification: safety, performance, useful life, cost, and the environmental impact. The end consumer's focus today is on cost, and all levels of the value chain are working hard to pull cost out of the system, while maintaining very high levels of safety and continuing to make improvements in all the other factors. Due to public and private investments around the world, the industry enjoys record low prices for battery packs. According to Bloomberg, the volume-weighted average cost of lithium-ion battery packs has dropped to $115 per kilowatt hour. This is a 20% reduction since 2023 and a 30% reduction since 2020. Now, China is and will remain the largest producer of battery packs, and due to those investments, the country enjoys BEV pricing at parity or even cheaper than a corresponding ICE vehicle. The rest of the world is pursuing a similar path. Now, what are some of the tactics that governments are using or could be using to encourage widespread adoption of EVs? We've seen a myriad of approaches. Governments tend to use a combination of 5 different approaches to encourage BEV adoption. First, tax credits and financing, like the EV tax credit in the US that's up to $7,500 per vehicle, or Germany's former 4,500 euro subsidy program. ICE mandates or phase-outs are another approach. Third, infrastructure investments. A barrier to adoption for many around the world, and especially in America, is insecurity around charging reliability or availability, so-called range anxiety. Governments are working to address this with investments like the United States' $7.5 billion infrastructure law for EV chargers. Fourth, government means of support is through the corporate and government fleet mandates. The U.S. federal government has a target of an all-EV fleet by 2035. California and China each tangibly encourage delivery, ride-sharing, and taxi vehicles to move towards EV powertrains. Fifth, and significantly important, are tangible government investments up and down the supply chain. These subsidies are transformative to their target audience, and we see this most clearly when the subsidy is removed. Until cost parity is achieved, as it is in China, governments in the rest of the world will need to encourage its citizens towards the vehicles they believe offer the greatest levels of positive externalities. The second trend that's actively shaping our industry is the dark horse of the crew, autonomous driving. Autonomous driving is broken down into 6 levels, 0 through 5. Well, most commercial vehicles today are at a level 2 plus of automation. At level 3 automation, the vehicle can drive itself under specific conditions, often highways, but the driver is required to remain close attention. Now, level 4 automation does not require a driver within a specific predefined area and is being primarily pursued by robotaxi services. For example, Waymo's Waymo driver system, the Apollo Go or Pony Pilot in China, or the Mercedes automated valet parking system. For a level 5, there's currently no vehicles that exist at a production level, but Tesla, Waymo, Apollo, and Toyota, among others, are all testing these capabilities. Governments around the world are implementing regulations to both support and safely manage the adoption of automated vehicles. China has level 4 robotaxis approved in multiple cities, including Beijing, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. Smart road investments are to support the AV growth with dedicated infrastructure. The United States has no federal AV laws in place yet, but California, Texas, Arizona, and Nevada are all implementing policies supporting the market development work of Waymo, Tesla, and others. Germany is the first country to legalize Level 4 AVs, and they did this back in 2021, with Berlin and Hamburg both testing autonomous shuttles. The United Kingdom is targeting 2026 for Level 4 AV use. The government has invested more than £100 million in AV testing centers to support this ambition. In Japan, they've approved a Level 4 AVs in 2023 for rural use, and Tokyo and Osaka are both testing AV buses for public transport. The nation there is leveraging its AV technology to support those with less access, those in rural areas, and seniors across the country. One of my favorite topics is the convergence of sustainability into automotive. What are the primary ways automakers are reducing their carbon footprints? Automotive OEMs are reducing their emission levels in several ways. The most obvious to the public is the move towards battery electric vehicles versus fossil fuels, as we have already been discussing. Automakers are also moving the source of their own energy used in production. For example, BMW is using 100% renewable sources to supply its production plants. Tesla is powering its gigafactories with solar and wind. Volvo is targeting the end of this year in 2025 to be climate neutral in its manufacturing. Car makers are also looking to end of life and recycling. Automakers like Tesla have partnered with recyclers like Redwood Materials to close the loop of materials. BMW and Nissan are both exploring the use of end-of-life EV batteries and energy storage applications. So how can Dow be supporting electrification, autonomous driving, and sustainability? This is where Dow will continue to assist. Dow's material families of specialty plastics, polyurethanes, and silicones are used throughout the modern electric and connected vehicle, regardless of their powertrain choice. For example, the bumper fascia technology enables the move towards integrated plastic bumpers, removing weight. The polyolefin chemistry also provides interior surface alternatives to PVC or leather, enabling a favorable end-of-life recyclability. Dow is itself a leader in sustainability. Between 2005 and 2020, Dow reduced its carbon emissions by 15% while also increasing production by 30%. Dow has launched a program called Transform the Waste, which will commercialize 3 million metric tons of circular and renewable solutions by 2030. So what do you think about these trends? Do you agree? Disagree? Where do you think we as an industry should put our time to make the biggest difference? Share in the comments. Let's get a conversation started. Thank you for joining us on the Road Ahead. Be sure to tune in every month as we continue exploring the critical intersections of science, sustainability, and performance. If you enjoyed today's discussion, share it with your network and help us drive this conversation forward. Until next time, I'm Ryan Smith, and I'll see you on the road ahead.